What's going on, everybody? This is the blockchain backer bringing you the latest cryptocurrency news and analysis. Today, we'll be taking a look at the XRP price chart, but of course, taking a peek over there throughout the altcoin market. Currently, the price of XRP sits at $3.31. Does that number sound familiar to you? It should, because that was the 2018 all-time high. And right now, price is fighting against it as we speak. So congrats to the long-term holders to make it to this point. A huge milestone. We even obviously exceeded the all-time high. There's a lot of disagreement out there on where the all-time high is. However, if we look at Bitstamp, Bitfinex, Binance, Kraken, it's all right here, $3.31 to $3.35. Yesterday, it exceeded the all-time high on all of the exchanges. There's a petty debate out there that the all-time high is up here at $3.80 due to it being reported that way on CoinMarketCap. However, nobody can name a single exchange where that happened at. David Schwartz made comments on that saying this was Korean exchanges that had like a depegged conversion rate of Korean won to United States dollars that triggered this over here on this chart from CoinMarketCap. However, all the other exchanges that we trade with US dollars, it's 331, 335. We set a new all-time high yesterday. So now we're just bucked up against it. I've got several lines here on the chart, and we'll just scoot that over there. I'll kind of get that out of the way for a minute. Right now, obviously, we're up here battling against the all-time high. Right here is the December of 2024 high. So, of course, just a month and a half ago. And down in here, this is the highest daily candle close that was set back in 2018. Essentially, we're coming back to the 2018 bull run. That's the highest price we were able to close at in here back in January of 2018. You shift over here to current times right now, and that's what this line represents. And of course, that was the big break that happened there just a couple of days ago where we took out the December of 2024 high and the highest daily candle close. So we've had now two consecutive closes that are the highest closes in history. And now you can see what we're trying to do here on Friday, the last day of Gary Gensler's reign and Joe Biden's reign on the United States stock market. So Monday, change of leadership takes place on January 20th. This is their last day, and you can see here's how we're going to end it. Now, of course, like everybody else, I'm sitting here wondering, is this thing going to be able to get its way out of here? Are we going to have to finally do this second bull flag thing that I've been talking about, and whether that's even going to end up showing up? Confidence level is not ridiculously high that it will show up, but I'll show you examples of how it could. One of the charts that we've used for Confluence has been the XRP versus Bitcoin price chart. This has been all phases of Wyckoff accumulation that have taken place here since December of 2020, all the way here until 2024 and still into 2025. Right here is considered your selling climax. What also happened then? That's when the SEC sued Ripple. Then all phases of Wyckoff accumulation take place in here, where we have our automatic rally. Then we have our secondary test. Then we have our secondary test in phase B. And then we have our creek, and then spring. That's standard Wyckoff accumulation. Next, we shoot back up to the range highs and we start working on our sign of strength to be able to go for the bigger push on its way out. Notice all phases happen down here as well. Selling climax, automatic rally, secondary test in phase B, followed by your creek and your spring. Then it shoots back up to the top of the range and then flags out and then goes. Well, just with where we're at right now, if you were to assume, hey, we're kind of doing something like that, we've kind of gotten past the phase here of where we've bucked up, we've already kind of flagged, and maybe we're shooting our way out of here, like we've got over here on XRP. Well, we can kind of zoom in on those particular moments to see how price did respond. Notice that we have the same kind of accumulation schematics that end up going on in here for it to inevitably go for the breakout and get its way out of here. But notice in there, we do have to kind of flag out for a little bit in here before we then ultimately go for the bigger move to happen. Then what eventually ends up coming, that thing we keep talking about, that double tap, bull flag, breakout, violent back test, right? Wouldn't be surprised if we end up getting that on XRP later down the road. And then what? V bottom. But right now, just kind of being like, there's a chance that we're just going to kind of work out here for just a minute in here for that flag to then finally really start getting this thing going. If you ask me my level of confidence that I place on that, it's low, like 25% confidence, not incredibly confident. I mean, for all we know, it could just pop and go. Gary Gensler comes out and surprises the market and resigns today rather than Monday. I don't know. But a lot of times in markets, you just kind of have to have like different ideas on what can happen in there. So you're just kind of emotionally stable through it all. Again, like none of this changes the bigger picture that this is just working on one of these puppies to go and just keep on moving along in there. We're just trying to like kind of isolate short-term time frames stuff in here, right? It's nothing changes on the bigger picture, a bigger move working in its way. These are just kind of pauses along the way that we can have. And it's not my favorite thing to do, to try to sit here and try to guess what short-term time frame stuff is going to happen. It's just that I've been through a few of these things before where we go through these double taps, the bull flags, and then the breakouts and the violent back tests. So I'm just trying to kind of share my experience with those with you. And usually we have another bull flag in there, and it's not like mandatory that we do, but usually we do. But like to even kind of continue reiterating that bigger trend happening there on XRP, well, we have to see that happening over there in the rest of the market at the same time. I never ever sit here and think that this price action happening for XRP is happening in an isolated vacuum. It's something that's occurring throughout the whole cryptocurrency market. And so this is total 3 over here on the left side. We've got Ethereum Classic. We've used this example many times over on the right to kind of give an idea of what it's like when we're bucking up against the all-time high, and just kind of showing even a structure of what a continuation looks like, because most of the altcoin market looks like this. Most of the altcoin market hasn't made its way back to the all-time highs like we're seeing on XRP or various assets. Most of them are still kind of bucked low. They're kind of setting themselves up to go shooting for a bigger move. But like looking over here at total 3, right? Total 3 is something that did kind of buck up against the all-time high. Not just kind of did. It did, right? Like it hit its all-time high over here for total 3, the altcoin market excluding Ethereum. But notice how in continuations of what we can end up having is something of an ABC happening in here. Market gets itself scared. It flushes the lows, right? How many head and shoulders patterns did you see posted over there on Twitter just last week? And then boom, it rips its way up. That's how these continuations can happen, right? That we have like an ABC, works its way up, and then the flush, and then boom, back up we go. It just wouldn't be unusual to even have a pullback happening over here. However, at the same time, just kind of keep it in the bigger picture of like, hey, no, we're actually talking about this kind of stuff though, right? So like if a bull flag does show up in here as we're bucked up against the all-time high for XRP, personally, I think it'll be short-lived. Maybe it's wrong. Maybe the thing just shoots off and goes and we're all hooting and hollering and we're like actually not being like, hey, we hit the all-time high, but we're like, we've broken out of the all-time high. That could happen too. My bigger picture perspective is, we're in it. We are living in it right now. It's just, is there going to be a little short-term pause happening in here to maybe get to the inauguration, right? Is there a little pullback down happening in here that you certainly can see occur? Maybe, but it's just part of the bigger trend. So if we end up getting it, definitely not something I'm going to be panicked about. We've even seen good reactions already happening in here. So indifferent on how low it would have to go. You could see it goes up and bucks up against the 702, pulls back to the 618, shoots up to the 786, back tests the 702, and then breakout. So, it could come from a higher place. And, the messaging of what I'm really just trying to portray is that we just see it everywhere. We're in a big old fat uptrend happening here in the cryptocurrency market. There's going to be pauses along the way. We'll try to guess little spots where they could happen so it doesn't shock us too bad if it ends up showing up. And there's not that fear and panic that, of course, everybody's going to have of being like, oh my gosh, was that the top? It's like, no, wait. There was supposed to be something that could show up, right? That's kind of where we're at. So if something shows up, it just won't be too surprising right now because the bigger trend still looks good. And we continue to see this stuff happening in other parts of the market too, like Hedera hash graph. So overall, things are looking great. Things about like the safety trade dominance, which is, of course, Bitcoin plus Ethereum plus the stable coins in there. Are we getting really, really close to this thing kicking off? And I think it's still just another one of those reminders too. Like, it's really exciting to see the crypto prices move up and we're moving really fast, but just like earlier, just we're living in it. We're in the moment. To remember that these are temporary moments, right? They don't tend to last forever. That if we continued moving at this velocity that we're at here in the cryptocurrency market, we could be looking at this thing being over by mid-February to mid-March, especially if this dominance just continues kind of going at that same kind of pace that it's been moving at here for the last several years. Is that, it could be like the beginning of March. It could be the end of February where we're like, all right, that's it. That was the whole 4-year cycle. We're complete because, right? Most things topped in April and May of 2021. Here we are in January of 2025. It's almost 4 years, right? So I come to you with all this positive messaging of like things are looking good, we're the big moves, exciting and stuff like that. But then, once we get, pushing into that next move and things get high and we're real parabolic, that messaging will change. It won't be like, hey, trend's good, YOLO, let's go. It's going to be like, hey, I think I'm going to be taking some stuff off the table at this point. I don't really want to relive the whole Luna and FTX stuff all over again. I think I'm just going to put more in my pocket. But right now, that's just not where we're at, right? We're talking about continuations. And we still have room to go on this thing, and haven't, in an environment like this, haven't reached that crazy phase yet. Like the crazy phase comes is where everybody pours into the market. Your grandma is like, hey, Johnny, could you teach me how to get some of those SHIBs, some of those XRPs? That's when it's like, okay, all right, we're done. That was fun, but we're done. And I'm sure a lot of people do have grandmas that maybe do own it, but just from a technical perspective, it just doesn't seem like we're there just yet. We have some room to go. So huge milestone there for the XRP price chart, hitting the all-time high, setting a new all-time high. It's caused chaos over there on Twitter. Bitcoin maximalists just completely losing their mind that XRP at this exact moment, in the social world and pop culture world is more popular than Bitcoin right now. We can see that over there in the Google Trend search data that even XRP is being searched for twice as much as Bitcoin is right now. And that's causing a big ruckus. A lot of people are not happy about that. And so you're going to see a lot of FUD come out. You're going to see a lot of fake stories come out, people trying to bring it down. A lot of people got sidelined on this thing. A lot of people got wrong-footed and told their audiences, don't touch this, that it's a scam. And they spent, years doing this to XRP. It's been the most FUDed asset for this whole time. It's just a fight of misinformation, and there's a lot of people wrong-footed on this thing. So the higher it goes, the more upset there will be, and just to kind of, acknowledge that's just how it goes. There's a lot of FUD that happens in this market, and that's just part of the game. But, if we end up getting that all-time high, I'll go ahead and release the movie too. I had a lot of people commenting yesterday, release it. And I'm like, no, we have to break into an all-time high. We can't just hit it. We got to break. So if we break into it, we'll get that out too. All right, there you go. As we head into the weekend, that's the kind of the things that we're looking at right now. Today is the last day of Joe Biden and Gary Gensler's reign over the United States stock market. Stock market will be closed on Monday due to it being Martin Luther King Day. However, it is also Inauguration Day at the same time. So we'll have a changing of United States presidents at the same time, and the stock market will also be closed. So today is officially Biden's and Gensler's last day of the U.S. stock market. And for that, the Gensler nightmare comes to a conclusion. So trends look positive. Altcoin market cooperating at the same time. We'll see if we have to do some flagging here for the XRP price chart, but congratulations to everybody for making it to the all-time high again. It's something we could only dream about. That was the official date, January 16th, 2025, for everybody who spent all the years waiting. We made it. Now we're just looking for breakout of all-time high. So we'll see if that comes sooner than later. And of course, I will be watching as close as possible. And, I always take the weekends off. I will make a special exception if we break out of the all-time high, that I'll come onto YouTube. Okay. So I'll check in with you guys later. I hope that you have an absolutely fantastic and wonderful weekend. I want to thank you so much for watching. If you're looking for something to do throughout the weekend, of course, you could check out my newsletter, which is blockchainbacker.substack.com. The most recent one was the dawn of change in 2025, crypto's inflection point with the 2025 market dynamics, key developer and user activity players, looking at the updates on all these and seeing how the market stands right now with all the altcoins, who's the top developers, where are the users at, talking about leaders, and then the AI agent phenomenon in crypto. It includes a 35-minute audio recording, and you get access to all the past ones as well if you sign up over here at blockchainbacker.substack.com. You can check out my website over here at bcbacker.com with over 40 videos on 11 hours of content teaching you how to set up your own charts and indicators within TradingView and CoinTrader Pro. There are links in the descriptions of each of my videos to bcbacker.com and to the newsletter at blockchainbacker.substack.com. Otherwise, have a wonderful weekend. Congrats to the all-time high, and we'll see if we can get our way out of here. But that's it for this one. Thank you so much for watching. If you could, please like this video and give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can be notified of when I create new content and when I go live. As always, this is not investment advice and I am not a financial advisor. But if you ever need a pick-me-up or a little bit of reassurance, just remember that the blockchain backers got your back. Have a good one.